Hello team, this trauma-informed foundation video is on titration and pendulation. And as this is a trauma-informed video, I invite you to remember that you can press pause on this video at any time. Often when we are learning about trauma healing, we can feel a lot of activation in our system as at the time that we are learning. And so it's important for you to pace yourself and to titrate your learning experience, to connect with your body and to be aware of what you are feeling and to know when it's time to take a break and that you can come back and continue learning when you have the capacity to do so. I talk about all of these words and what they mean inside my Trauma Informed Foundations playlist. So please go ahead and watch some of those videos and familiarize yourself with these terms. So titration is what I've just described in this disclaimer about this video. So titration is a term that comes from science, chemistry, I believe, where you are just experiencing small amounts, you're adding something small amounts at a time and then stepping back and looking at the results. In this case, you're going to experience something in a small amount and then you're going to step back and see how you feel. You're going to check in with yourself. Does this feel safe? Do I have the capacity to do a little bit more, or am I at capacity with this at the moment? So titration is about us working with your experience, your sensations, your emotions, your feelings around what you've come into the healing space for, little by little. And this is so you can build that relationship up with yourself again. So when I introduce the work that I do, I say help you to get out of survivor mode, restore your nervous system and reconnect with yourself. Titration and pendulation are two tools that we use to help you reconnect with your interoception, which is something I spoke about in a video yesterday, which you can also watch in the Trauma Informed Foundations playlist. And that is about being connected with the feelings and the sensations that are coming from inside your body. And so titration, when we are exploring potentially a memory, a sensation, a feeling, an emotion, we're doing it little bit by little bit. And this is why it's so important that you do seek support for doing this work, because a trauma-trained practitioner will be guiding you through that and will be titrating you through processing and integrating your trauma, your experiences that you've had, that you've come into session for. And often we don't have a lot of awareness of that to manage all of that on top of everything else that we are wanting to process. And so what can happen is something called emotional flooding. If we do not titrate and pendulate, which I'll get to in a minute, then we can experience emotional flooding. I also made a video about that this week, so you can check that out in the playlist too. And that is when we just have a surge of survival stress energy that is coming up and out of our system, and that can reactivate us and put us back into a survival state where we feel that we need to fight, fly, or freeze, shut down and disassociate, which can be re-traumatizing for the nervous system, because as I spoke about in other videos, yes, there are events which are known as traumatic events, of course, and trauma can happen to anybody, even if they're just having a stressful day, because it depends on the amount of stress that is already in the system at the time that can push it over capacity and into a traumatic state. And we don't want that to happen for you. We want to be able to help you slowly and safely process the stress that you have in your system. so that you feel good about doing this work, so that you feel the benefits of doing this work. So pendulation is about building your capacity to experience the discomfort of that survival stress, of those experiences that you're wanting to process and integrate. So if we imagine a pendulum swinging from one end to another, this is where you are you're coming from a safe space, and then you're venturing out into discomfort, but maybe we're only actually going here, and we're seeing how that feels, and then we're coming back. And then maybe you say, okay, I can do a little bit more, and then you can come back. And this is a tool, a practice, where we've already helped you establish safety. We've already done orienting, we've already done resourcing, we already know which are your preferred grounding tools. You are being supported. You've got somebody there, a practitioner with you, to co-regulate with, to support, to watch, to guide you, to hold space for you. And that they are observing what you are experiencing in your non-verbal cues, and also communicating with you as well, right? So pendulation is like where, okay, we can help you to go a little bit deeper into that and then come back to safety. And that, along with the titration and that awareness and the pendulation and the discomfort and building the capacity, that is what helps you rebuild your relationship with yourself through interoception and reconnect with yourself, which is difficult at the time because you might feel incredibly disconnected from yourself, because that is one of the consequences of trauma. But it is really, really rewarding and so incredibly healing to feel that you are embodied and that you have the capacity to be embodied and to safely feel your feelings. And that is what this work is helping you to do eventually, so that you can become fully integrated with your thoughts, your feelings, your experiences, your body, your energy, etc. So let me just check my notes. Yes, I've already spoke about these things. It's this really slow, supported, safe work that leads to lasting change in your nervous system and restoring that nervous system. And it's not quick. It is not quick. It takes a long time. And yeah, and it's something that gets better over time, but it does take a long time to rebuild a relationship with our body and to recultivate that capacity and that safety again. But it's worth doing, absolutely, because it's your life and your body and your relationship with yourself. So titration and pendulation allow the nervous system to heal without being overwhelmed. And that's why we use these techniques in practice, in session. So if you are someone that is on their healing journey and you are looking for support, my name is Donna Louise, and I am a trauma-trained somatic practitioner, a functional breathwork coach, a clinical EFT practitioner, and I'm also a trainee counsellor. And I help people to get out of survival mode, to restore their nervous system, and to reconnect with themselves. If you have any thoughts, any comments, any questions, any concerns, I would love to hear them. Please pop them in the comments section below this video. Give it a like. Please subscribe to the channel and share it with anyone that you know that might benefit from learning about trauma healing. And until the next time, take very good care. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.